Seismologists are very concerned about areas that have what we call soft soils in them, because both laboratory experiments and experience from studying many earthquakes suggest that urban areas that are built on soft soils shake more strongly than nearby areas that are built on hard rock. We saw that in the 1906 earthquake in San Francisco. The low-lying areas in San Francisco shook most strongly. It was repeated in 1989 in what I call the World Series earthquake in the San Francisco Bay Area. The freeway collapse was in a mud area in Oakland, the Marina District of San Francisco, where they had taken debris from the 1906 earthquake, filled in the marina, brought soil on top, shook much more strongly than the hills just a few blocks away. Well, so we have Boston. 2/3 of downtown Boston is landfill, and the landfill was put on top of basically muds that had been collecting on either side of the Shawmut Peninsula, the Back Bay muds to the east and to the west and to the north, the Massachusetts Bay muds or the Boston Bay muds to the east, and soil was brought in to raise the land above sea level. Now, what I have done with some of my students is actually looked at historic earthquakes from the 20th century and newspaper accounts and written descriptions of these earthquakes, and we said, what parts of the Boston area felt these earthquakes more strongly? And so, for instance, there was an earthquake in 1925 centered along the St. Lawrence River near Charlevoix, Quebec. So we're talking about an earthquake a few hundred miles away, felt in the city of Boston. Some structures in the city of Boston were shaken so strongly that people evacuated those structures. Other structures just a few blocks away, people said, well, there was a little earthquake, but it was no big deal. And so we mapped those, and what we discovered is that the areas of the landfill that, according to our experience, we would expect to be the most susceptible to amplified ground shaking, in fact, were the areas where the buildings shook most strongly and the people were most frightened. Now, there was no damage in 1925, but the shaking was strong enough people were abandoning buildings. The theater district, for example, several of the theaters were evacuated. People were worried about the buildings. The Customs House Tower, it turns out, people said that building shook extremely strongly in the 1925 earthquake. And we have other earthquakes since then where the pattern repeats. Landfill apparently is one of the things in the Boston area that amplifies the ground shaking. And if we had a strong earthquake today or tomorrow or next year, the areas of the city built on landfill, I would expect, would be the ones that would take the most damage.